Wow. Looks like we're live. Don't know what the lag is. Anyway, welcome. Messing about in the workshop today. Hi, Mark. How you doing? I don't know what the lag is because I'm trying something new. We're going through OBS straight into YouTube, bit like StreamYard. So we'll see what happens. Welcome. Just gonna be messing around with a bit of sweet chestnut, having a bit of a play, seeing what I can do, get up to. See if we can try some new techniques. If you can't hear me, or if you can hear me, say so. Morning all. How is everybody today? Let's have a look. So I have in the chuck a piece of a piece of chestnut that I'm going to be turning the bowl just so I can try some techniques, bit of practice. Hopefully makes life a little bit easier. So it's not a very big piece. It's only around about, let's have a quick measure up. So it's only 8 inches by 2.5 inches. So it's not a big piece. So we're just going to turn our basic shape. All good, good, good. Like I say, I'm going straight for OBS, so I don't know how this how well the sound and picture comes out. So if there's any flaws or anything, just give us a shout and we'll check it out. And I'll come back every now and again and just check the chat. So we'll see what happens. All right, so let's get a rough shape on this. So what's everybody up to? Hope you're all in your workshops. Still a bit green, this wood. Seems a little bit jumpy. Yeah, it does a little bit, doesn't it? Strange. It's obviously getting a little bit of vibration from somewhere. Let's have a look. So why is that getting a little bit of vibration? Perhaps the extractor. There you go, that's a bit better, isn't it? Have to keep an eye on that. Yeah, a little bit of vibration through the lathe. So I'm going to put a little tenon on the bottom of this. Seems Mr. Sabian Smith tells me I should put tenons on rather than mortises. So right, so there. I'm just going to leave a little foot on the bottom of there, just so the piece sits off the table a little bit. So just do a bit of a shear cut around there, just to finish that off. Afternoon, Barry. How you doing, mate? Nice little shape, a little bit of a foot on there. Give it a bit of a sand up. So what's everybody up to then? Anybody doing anything exciting? Yeah, I know, Barry. Nick's gone out with Casey. My oldest daughter's gone to a theme park for Fright weekend, and I'm all home alone. I was in the workshop messing about, and I thought, you know what? Let's see if there's a few friends in the background who want to have a bit of a fly on the wall workshop time. So I thought I'd just stick up and see who comes in. I was on the lathe anyway, so I thought I'd have a bit of a play. Bit of practice. Like they say, practice makes perfect. So Chris is breathing out the same old thing, Stephen. Child minding, John. Oh, I'm glad you're feeling better, Barry. Chris dog breathing in that same old thing. Visiting daughter, not so sunny Wales. Oh, yeah, it's a bit overcast here today. It's not too bad, but it's a bit overcast. I had a few little jobs I had to do this morning, which I've done. So I thought a bit of workshop time was needed. I don't get a lot of time to practice on the lathe. I seem to, the only time I really get to do anything is on a live, and I really want to change that. I really want to get a bit more chance to. I'm trying to work on a few projects so I can get a few videos up, because I do enjoy doing the videos. And also, it's always nice to have a bit of practice time to try new techniques and other bits and bobs. Hi, Terry, how's the ankle, mate? Hope you're not in too much pain. So what I'm aiming for with this bowl is a nice finish. One, maybe two colours maximum. Not going to do too many colours. Something autumny, as we're now coming into that time of year. And I'm going to see how good a shine I can get on it without lacquer. The only problem we've got is the wood is still a little bit damp. I don't know how that's going to work with the wax. So we'll see. Time will tell. So I'm going to sand this up to 400 grit. Yes, Mark, I need to get some colour. Yeah, I can imagine that you can't do a lot, Terry. Yeah, Mark, I was lucky enough. Martin invited me down to Hampshire Sheen last month, and I was lucky enough to have a day's tuition with Martin. And that man is full of knowledge. I learned so much from tool control to sanding to colouring. It's just the whole day was a school day. I just learned so much, and I was really honoured to be invited down to spend a day with Martin. Safe journey, Barry. So last grip, 400. I'm sure, like Martin tells you, sanding is one of the most important parts of colouring. So we are sanded up to 400 grit. Just blow the dust out of that. So pieces all ready for tomorrow. Second coat of resin has been put over the top of that already. Just got to do a little bit of prep on the back because we had a little bit of resin leak over, so I just want to clean it up before the live. But she's all ready to go. So I'm looking forward to finishing that. All right, so let's get some colour out. So I think I'm going to go with my go-to colours are normally reds and yellows, but I'm going to do something different. I think I'm going to go with blues, I think, or blue. So I do like that sky blue. So sky blue, maybe a little bit of midnight. I'm going to coat the whole thing in sky, and I may just put a little bit of midnight around the bottom there, so it looks like the dark's coming into the light. Hi, Philip. How you doing, sir? Oh, trip to Sydney, you lucky man. You lucky man. Hope you had a good time. Right, so as always, Hampshire Sheen Intrinsic Sky Blue I'm using first. Like I say, I'm going to put Sky Blue all over the piece. And I may give this a couple of coats of Sky Blue so we get a nice rich colour. sure we get in that little lip where there's a rim, or the foot, shall we say. Now this being a little bit green, it may soak the colour really well in. But we'll see. Hi Rex, how you doing, bud? Thanks for coming over. So I'm just going to get the hot air gun and let that dry off and dry it off a little tiny bit. And I may put another coat on that. As you can see where the soft grain is and the dark and the hard grain is because the soft grain always soaks it in better. Make sure it's dry. I'll move the hot air gun so I don't keep pulling the plug out. It will be easier, won't it? So that's nice and dry. Make sure we've got a fairly even coat. Make sure we've got no, where you can see the lines, the transition lines over. So I'm quite happy with that. So we'll move on to the Midnight. Sky blue, Rex, that is. So let's have a look. Philip, I just arrived home from Sydney. Yes, just a dinner with the son and family, first time. Oh, I'm glad. Hope you enjoyed it, Philip. Hi, Robbo. How you doing, bud? Hope you're well. Ian in the shed. Hi, Ian. So I'm going to do a bit of midnight blue just on this bottom part here. It don't matter if we go over the foot because when I turn off the tenon, we can just clean that bottom piece up. So just a little bit in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start from the bottom and feather my way up. And just gradually work our way up to where we want to be then. And I think that's about as high as I want to go. Just going to actually give that basic coat because I may leave a little bit of a coloured rim on there. I'm not 100% sure yet. So we're just going to get the hot air gun and dry that off again. So that's sky blue and midnight blue I've put on there. And what we'll do is when we sand and seal, we should lose part of that transition line to feather that in a bit better. So we're ready to sand and seal it. So Hampshire Sheen pre-finned finners, or sand and sealer should we say. Hi Rob, how you doing, bud? Thanks for coming over. board on, so I don't drop cellulose thinners everywhere. Now we're going to be careful with this because when you obviously put this on, you're going to smudge your dark into your light. So we don't want to try and do too much of that. We just want to try and blend in that transition line. Sort of want that to bleed in together. So give that another coat. So I'm just going to burnish that with some shavings that we took off of it earlier. So as you can see, you just see that fade in there. You've lost that transition line, which is nice. See you later, Barry. Thanks for coming over, mate. Have a safe journey, bud. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some embellishing wax over that just to enhance that grain because it's got quite a nice grain in there. So with a blue, we can either go with a gold or a silver. I think gold. I think a bit of gold embellishing wax. So just go over this with a bit of gold embellishing wax. There he is. What do you say? Yeah, thought I'd do a fly on the wall. Got people in the chat. Look, say hello to people in the chat. Only fly. Yeah, it was a good line. It was very good. I know. I know. I did have a bit of a chat about that. As they get on the alcohol, they get excited. Bless them. All right. Soak a minute or two. All right. Rex, we're gonna see if we can do a charity day, and I'll see if I can get some makers to donate, and we'll see if we can get things auctioned off. What one do we want? This one. Here's the famous Richard Bunton. Look. All right, let's just buff this off. Your drink. I'll make you a drink. I've got a machine there. Well, I just thought I'd do a fly on the wall since I'm on my own. Just sort of see who's about. So Ben's just put, oh my God, can tell he's your dad. What? Because he's half the size of me, Ben. Hi Eric, how you doing? So bottom, that's the bottom all done. A little bit of embellishing wax. Let's bring it on overhead so hopefully you can see the embellishing wax in it. Can you see the embellishing wax? Oh yeah, you can see the embellishing wax. Let's just move the camera over a little bit. So as you can see, embellishing wax there just enhances the green with that transition line of the blues right there. So I don't know how well you can see that. So let's have a look. Right, so we need to now hog out the middle. Hi Lewis, how you doing, bud? So before I hog out the middle, I'm going to make my dad a coffee. Seems he's old and he needs to be looked after. I know. Right, so I'm just going to make my dad a coffee and I'll be back in a minute, guys. bag. Yes, it is chestnut. It's a piece of chestnut. I had to make Dad a coffee, so the old man a coffee. Right, let's start hogging this out. Just sharpen my. Actually, I'll use my other bowl gouge. It'll be easier. Make it sharp. Yep. Safety glasses, wherever I've put them. Over here. You might get covered in shavings there. I'm going to face this first. Let's actually change camera. Let's have that one there. Move that around a little bit. Up a little bit. I moved it yesterday for a video I was doing. A bit high. Bit green, that is. See how wet that is in the middle there, look. Hi Greg, hi Jappy, hi Stephen Krill, welcome. That is really wet, isn't it? Really, really wet. So, let's move that around a little bit so I can get in there a bit better. Just a little bit more. So that is just got a little bit of a high spot there. Just clean it out. It's better. So that is round about, I reckon, between 8 and 10 mil thick. So that will do me. That's how it's really green. That's still really wet. Thanks, Robbo, for that. He senses a funnel coming up. No faith, this lot, I'll tell you. No faith whatsoever. I ain't. Ooh, shh. Don't say that. Don't say things like that. You jinx me. No, Rex. My dad doesn't turn. He's never had a go, but he he's yeah, he does a bit of woodwork, but not he doesn't turn. He's a turning virgin. Let's put it that way. Yeah, he's a decorator. He's not a turner. He's a decorator. Right. So drill. Sand this up to. Going to leave it natural inside, so I'm going to sand up to 240. Let's go start this one. Scratching on. Alright, hose just fell off. I need to put a cable tie around it or a clip around it. So no doubt this is going to move if that's wet. I will let it dry slowly. Hi, Brian. How you doing, bud? Oh, that one. I might stop putting used sanding pads back in there, really. Like something it takes up to 240 grit. I'm not going to go above that. We'll Yorkshire grit it then. Well, neither really. Rex, you're better off having a flat bottom without a funnel. That normally helps. That's normally look a bit better than a dome in the middle. Afternoon, Terry. How you doing? It's the last grit, 240. So it's up to 240 grit. I'll drink my coffee, I think, before it gets cold. Right, just blow the dust out of that. I've tried to keep that nice sharp line on the edge there and on that there. So shouldn't be too bad. So now we're going to sand and seal that. Hi, Brian Watkins. Welcome over. So again, coat this as sand and sealer. Give it a couple of coats because it's still quite moist, the wood. Look at the grain pop. Chestnut. It's a piece of chestnut. Yeah. Try not to get your sand and sealer on your colour because it will take the colour out. As you can see on the line, what camera are we on? As you can see from the line there, let's go to a tailstock camera. So this is going to make the grain swell a little bit by putting the sand and sealer on. A lot of dirt come out of that grain. Dirt come out of that grain. Look. Right, so we'll let that dry. Just burnish it off with a little bit of shavings. Sorry. Yeah, it helps dry out, and also what it does is when you put the sand and sealer on, the grain swells a little bit, so it just rubs it back. So it's like denibbing it. Just takes the roughness out of it. You can go. You don't really need to because I'm going to Yorkshire grit it, but you can use a real soft Scotch Brite like that as well to do it. So Yorkshire grit it then. Hi Amy, how you doing? So Yorkshire grit, nice generous coat. Rub it all in before you start lathe up. I'm not going to get too much on this edge because I don't want to over my wood. So lathe about 400 RPM. Then gently apply. Don't need no pressure. Let the friction between the paste and the tissue do all the work. And spend 2 or 3 minutes just gently rubbing it over so the Yorkshire grit can cut that wood and give us up to about 1,000 grit finish. Hi Doug, how you doing? Speed up a little bit. I'm just going to come on that outer grain, out that edge a little bit, just to try and smooth that out a little bit. I don't want to be on there too much because I don't want to catch the colour. Whoosh. Right, so as you can see, all the wood is in the tissue, clean tissue. Couple of questions for me. Couple of questions for you, Steve. What's the questions then? Oh, question. Here we go. Hang on, and let me stop the live. Right. So, question number 1 is from Eric Wiggler. Steve, how can you get the proper sanding and finish on wet wood? Good question. All I can do is sand it back till it's smooth, and then hopefully as it dries it won't swell no more to create an uneven surface. If it does, then we'll have to look at another way of sanding it. Who else was the question? Let's have a look. Can't see the other question. Oh, here we go. Question: is it better to funnel or have a center on the top? Have the center on the top of the slope. I answered that one. I can only see one question. I can only see one. If someone else, oh hi Mark, how you doing, bud? If someone, if I haven't answered the question, just put it back in, and I will re-answer it, or try and answer it, shall I say? Just buff this off. Clean tissue, so we know all the wax is off. Why would I finish wet wood? It's not wet, it's just damp. But it's all practice. That's what I've got it for. Nothing specific. If it moves, then it might make it look a bit better if it moves, a bit more interesting. So it's not wringing wet, it's just damp. I don't know what the moisture content is, perhaps no more than about 12-14%, but right, so let's get some wax on there, just finish it off. So I'm going to put on some microcrystalline wax. So I told you get hit by shaving, sat there. Told you I'd get hit by shaving, sat there. Oh, well. We know what Ben's like. We just ignore Ben's questions, Robbo. Not really, Ben. Right, coat of microcrystalline wax. If you was a bit concerned that it was too wet, you could give it a coat of oil, so then you can reapply. So that would just gently force out the moisture. But like I say, it's not that wet. It's just damp. Plus, I've turned it pretty thin, so like I say, it's anywhere between 8 and 10 mil, so it's not too thick. Right, so Hampshire Sheen microcrystalline wax. Keep that out. Gently buff this up. Don't want too much of a excuse me. Don't want too much of a shine on the inside, because I don't want to take the look from the outside. See you later, Lewis. Thanks for coming over, mate. Have a good day. So just give that one more coat, just so we make sure we've got it well into the grain. There you go. Nothing too high gloss. Nice little sheen in there. Oops, wrong way. So let's go on over here. Actually, that one. So you can see, nice little bowl. Nice little sheen on it. A little bit of yellow coming through there. Two blues with a bit of gold embellishing. We just get the cold draws in and turn the tenon off the bottom. Hopefully this will be the right size and got our alter it. But I wouldn't hold my breath. See you later, Ben. Thanks for coming over. So I reckon that's going to have to be altered. I reckon that's, oh, no, we might be all right. We might be all right. Let's have a look. Will it go big enough? That's the question. Yes. Yes. So just gradually clamp that gently in the cold draws. Get rid of some of this tissue. Just turn that tenon off the bottom, hopefully without going through the bottom of it. So I'm just going to use the spindle gouge to get that off. Ooh, turn that down. This is where it could go Pete Tong. This is where we find out if I'm too thin at the bottom. Bit thin. Alright, just give that a light sand. Will be a light sand and all. Actually, I'm going to use a drill on that. It'll be a bit quicker. So there's a question there from Doug. Question. Steve, I don't remember you using tenons before your tuition with Martin Sabian Smith, correct? You are correct. Martin had a moan at me for not using tenons, for doing mortises and everything. And if you remember on the special guest there, where when Martin was on after the week after I had my lesson with him, he had a go at me for not using not using a tenon. So I thought I'd try using tenons a bit more. All right. So what's that? 120, 180. $240, $240. So that's 240. Just going to put a 320 over that, just final. just going to put a little bit of sand and sealer over that. So just denib that. And we'll put a little bit of wax over the top of it. I think we're there. So a little bit more crystalline wax. Just buff it off. So there you go. Nice little chestnut bowl. A bit of a wipe. So there you go. Nice little chestnut bowl. Right, compressor's just kicked in. So we started off with a piece 8 inches by 2.5, and we ended up with a piece 7.75 by 2.25. So we didn't take that much off of it. Like I say, it's about anywhere between 7 and 8 mil. Well, between 8 and 10, I reckon, all the way through, fairly equal. So yeah, there we go. So there you go. You can see the embellishing wax in there that we put in. So we used sky blue, midnight blue, gold embellishing wax. Only the embellishing wax on the bottom to give it that sheen. And in the inside, we put microcrystalline inside. So there we go. See you later, Amy. Question, Andy H. Steve, what is your understanding of Martin's preference for tenons? I don't know, but obviously a lot of professionals turn bowls, and when you've finished it, you don't want to see the mortise in the bottom, because it does look a lot more professional when it's obviously a nice flat finish on the bottom. And it's, I don't know, it's obviously it's harder if you need to sit it on the table, or if you need to put it back on the lathe and refinish it. It's obviously harder. But I think it brings a bit more class to your piece, really do. But I still should be using tenons every now and again as well, because it's easier. And like I say, you can, if you want to, you can put it on the lathe and refinish it. Sometimes when I do a practice piece, when I do a live, it's only a practice piece. So what I'll do is I'll put it back on the lathe and play with it, refinish it. So that's the reason I use quite a few tenons. But I will actually be, for the pieces I'm trying to sell or move on, I will actually put more tenons on the bottom. Sorry, I'll be using mortises for practice pieces, but I will be putting tenons on the bottom. So obviously they come off nice and clean and finish nice. So nice sit on the table. Little bit of a step there, just so that sits on the table. You get a little bit of a transition line. The actual bowl's not sitting on the table. So yeah, it looks good. Anyway, so thanks for coming over and joining us for the fly on the wall. Just thought it'd be something different. Nothing scripted, nothing set in stone. Just a bit of fun, bit of turning. So yes, hi, Chris. It's actually not a piece of chestnut that you gave me, mate. It's another piece. I've got a project that's coming out next week that is a piece of chestnut you gave me. So yeah, anyway, just you can turn off a mortise just as easy. Yeah, you can. I totally agree with that. But I don't know. I've got no preference to either, Andy. I'm not bothered either or. So I just thought I'd use it for a change, because I should get used to using them both, really. So but anyway, so let's say thanks for coming over and joining me. It's just a bit of fly on the wall. OBS, I was trying something new in OBS as well, so I thought I'd knock the two together, and hopefully you've enjoyed. So obviously we'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow we have a special guest airworm on tomorrow. We've got guests over, and the gentleman's agreed to airworm for me. I'm not going to tell you who it is. That will be a surprise for tomorrow. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye. Have a great rest of your Saturday. Thanks for coming over and joining me in the workshop. I might do a few more of these on a Saturday, but different things. So I'll see you tomorrow. Anyway, guys, take care. Have a great day. Bye for now.